Okay, a couple of weeks ago, my friend Chelsea came up to me after a job interview. She was interviewing for a professional management position in Marriott Hotel. And she was in tears because she knew she bombed it. And as she was venting to me, I was looking at her suit, and some of the seams are a little frayed, and she's a short little person, so she steps on her pants all the time, and there are holes at the end. And I asked her, Chelsea, do you think maybe your appearance might have affected the way your interview went? And she said, do you think that would be such a big deal? I'm like, Chels, come on. It's a really important thing to think about. And according to Karen Klein of Business Week, appearance does matter in the workplace. And as college students, we're starting to be more integrated into a more professional environment. And sometimes we don't know how to keep up our looks by mending our worn out clothes. So today I'm going to teach you how to mend minor clothing damage. And I'm going to teach you how to sew on a button, how to mend a torn seam, and how to hem pants. So first, easiest thing, we're going to start with the button. You have your loose button, you have your garment, and I have a threaded needle with a knot at the end. The first thing you're going to do is poke your needle through the first hole of the button, and then pull it until it hits the end of the thread. Then you're going to pull the needle down through the second hole of the button, and then pull. And you're just going to repeat this process until you feel like the button is secure. And the key thing is to not pull the thread too hard, because you know when you button your clothes, there's going to be some slack and some movement needed to move that button around. So when you feel like your button is secure, you're going to finish it off by poking the needle through the fabric, but not the buttonhole. And then you're going to wrap your thread around the middle between the button and the fabric to kind of make a stem to reinforce what you just sewed. And you're going to put the needle back through the fabric, knot it, and cut off the excess. So you have your nice, secure little button. Next, you have your shirt. You love this shirt. It's your favorite shirt. You wear it all the time. But maybe you gained a couple of pounds, or you put too much strain onto it, and you rip a seam. And it's a sad day because you feel the draft and you have this holy shirt. But I'm going to tell you how to mend a seam. And I know sewing is really intricate and small work, so I tried to do a simulation to kind of make things a little bigger for everyone to see. So here's your seam, and then when I open this up, here's your ugly big hole that you want to fix. And I have my threaded needle. I'm using a bright color so everyone can see, but you want to make sure that you use a color that matches the fabric that you're going to use. So in this case, you would use black thread. So first, you're going to start poking a hole up through the fabric until it hits the thread. And instead of going forwards down the tear, you're going to go backwards and poke another hole to make your very first stitch. So everyone can see the orange. There's this nice little stitch. And from underneath your needle, from underneath your fabric, you're going to go forwards actually, and you're going to go twice the distance of one stitch. So here's one distance, and here's another distance. And you're going to poke a new hole through the fabric, and then poke your needle through the bottom of the stitch that you just made. So you're going to poke your stitch or your needle right here, and then that will form your second stitch. So you can see there are two even nice stitches, and this is what is called the back stitch. And this is the most common and simple stitch used to attach two pieces of fabric together, or at least according to Martha Stewart. So the basic pattern of this stitch is when the needle is above your fabric, you go backwards, and you poke your needle into the hole that you just made. And when your needle is below the fabric, you go forward and poke a new hole into your fabric. So once you feel like your tear is mended, you can knot off the extra thread and cut off the extra, and you can open up this shirt and see that there's no more hole. You've mended it. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to hem pants. And hemming pants is really difficult only because the setup is really precise and it's really detail oriented. Other than that, sewing the hem itself is just a simple back stitch, or you can use any other stitch that you prefer. So first you have your pants or your dress or your skirt, and it's not at the right length, it's a little too long. So what you want to do is you try it on. And you try it on, and you see that it's too long, you cut off the extra fabric. But you have to leave about an inch or about 2 fingers width of leftover fabric to fold up and hem sew back. So you turn the pant leg inside out, and you fold down that 2 finger widths worth of fabric. So this is about 2 finger widths worth. You can use a ruler, but it's not too precise that you really need accurate measurements. You just have to make sure that the fold throughout the circumference of the pant is uniform, so that this end of the fold is the same as this end of the fold. Otherwise, one part of your pant leg will be too long, and it will look really awkward. So you have this fold nice and uniform, and you get a few pins, 4 or 5 pins, just to secure it in place, all around throughout the circumference. So you just poke it through so that it goes under, and then you poke it up. Optionally, you can always get an iron and sew in, or not sew in, but iron in a new crease right here to reinforce the folding that you just did. But usually I just wait until I'm finished completely with the sewing to iron in the new crease. So you have your fold, it's reinforced with pins. What you want to do now is turn it right side out, or the right way, and try it on. Careful not to pin yourself, careful not to dislodge any pins. And measure out, make sure, double check that it's at the right length. This can be done with the dress or the skirt that you're hemming to. So everything's good, at a good length as you try it on, and you want to turn it inside out again. This is why hemming is so tedious, because it's a lot of repetition and detail. And you want to start sewing your hem. So you have your threaded needle, not at the bottom. Usually you want to make a longer thread than this because you're going around the entire circumference of the pant leg. And then you start your back stitch by poking your needle through the pants. And you want to make sure you're at as close to the edge of the fold as possible. Otherwise, if you sew it too close to the bottom of the fold, then when you wear it, the pant leg will just kind of fall down, and it'll distract you, and you'll look like you have some kind of twitch or disorder. So you poke your needle through, and of course, reviewing the back stitch again, you go back, and then you go forward, and then you continue this all throughout the circumference of the pants until you reach where you started. So after that, you knot off the thread, and you cut off the excess thread, and you should try this on just to make sure that it's at the right length that you want, and iron in the new crease, and you should be done. And then you start on the other pant leg, which I'm not going to do because you just had a taste of that. This is not my best handiwork. I'm like the worst seamstress ever, but this is how the stitch should look when you're done with your hem. Of course, you have to use thread that is as close to the pant color as possible. Otherwise, this black thread, it looks really ugly, really tacky. So the same process goes with skirts or dresses, and it's pretty much straightforward with skirts or dresses because it's one whole length instead of 2 pant legs. But after that, your outfit should be well put together. I just reviewed how to mend minor damages in clothing, and I just showed you how to sew on a button, how to mend a torn seam, and I taught you how to sew on a hem. Now you don't have to be like my friend Chelsea and potentially blow a job interview. Now you can save your money, save your time, save your clothes, and all the while you will look fabulous. Thank you.